Hey, Allie.
Hey, Seth.
All right. Today we get to talk with Bernard Taylor. He's running in the 21st district in the great state of Florida. Our second
Mm-hmm.
uh, congressperson running in the state of Florida. And we're so
Yes.
glad to have you, Bernard. Let's get right into it. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you for
welcome.
having me.
Welcome to Left Out Loud. Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you are you are an EMS worker. That's your background, family man. You got five kids. God bless you.
Mm.
But I mean, you find the time to help your community, have the conversations with the people in the 21st district. And so, when I was looking at your website, off top, Florida is a state that just gets hammered with
hmm
weather and things like that, but you're also prey to a lot of companies that want to take away some of the natural beauty that Florida has. And you're over here like wanting to protect Florida's waterways. There's so many beautiful things in Florida that we want to keep and preserve. Please talk about that because Florida's a beautiful state. There's a reason why the snowbirds fly down to Florida for the winter. So talk about that a little bit because that's something that I'm sure is close to your heart.
Absolutely. Growing up here in Florida, you learn and you realize very quickly how unique our environment and our ecosystem is.
Mm.
The Everglades here in Florida, there's no natural resource like it on anywhere in this entire planet. It's truly a one of
Mm-hmm.
a kind place, and it's been under attack, unfortunately, over the past 2 decades. Whether that's from overdevelopment, whether that's from pollution and toxic runoff that gets fed into the lake up there in Lake Okeechobee. That unfortunately, because of developers and things of that nature, they try to manipulate the lake's natural flow, which is south into the Everglades, in order to protect the neighborhoods and the local communities that surround the lake.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a big sugar company and sugar business here in Florida that is south of the lake that doesn't necessarily want those toxins to flow towards their business, they find the right people and find the right politicians in order to steer those runoffs and steer those pollutants that unfortunately affect communities like mine here on the Treasure Coast, that destroy our waterways, that fill our waterways with toxic red algae, blue green algae. But like I say, the pollution, the runoff, it's been literally destroying our community over the past decade. And if anybody knows
Heartbreaking.
anything about, yeah, if anything, anybody knows anything about Florida, Lake Okeechobee is only 14 feet deep. So while it is a very big lake, it is not a very deep lake. So a lot
Mm.
of that runoff
Mm-hmm.
and muck sits at the bottom of the lake. And when it is hot, as it is pretty much year round in Florida, that stuff evaporates
Yeah.
into the air. If you look at the communities that surround the lake and look at the numbers in terms of the percentage of cancer that has gone up just over the past 10 years, is heartbreaking. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it's the people's fault.
Yeah.
And those communities tend to be um, more on the lower income side, so a lot of them can't really leave those communities, so
Mm-hmm.
they have to bear the brunt of this. And it's when you live in a community like that and you have no voice, who is really there to stand up for you to make sure that you're not suffering from, unfortunately, eco pollution and the environment pretty much killing you.
Yeah. That is heartbreaking. And, we have friends, Seth and I have a mutual friend that lives in Florida. I think she was just talking about this earlier today on a live, about the water quality where she lives. And it's just devastating. It doesn't have to be this way. Greed is such a corrupter in every area, but people overlook how it affects environments and how it then trickles down to affect our health.
Which is why this is one of those important election years, because a hot topic here in Florida is the data centers, as it is a
Hmm.
hot topic
Yes.
around the entire country. Florida, being that it is a natural wetland, obviously we have a lot of water and a lot of different land that has been not developed, and these developers and these AI companies and data center companies see Florida as untapped potential for them to come down and build those centers.
Yes.
Even in my district alone, there have been four proposed in the three different counties that I represent. And, I try my best to educate the community on the impact these data centers have and all the negative impacts. I mean, if we've already been dealing with negative environmental impacts from, again, the overdevelopment and the
Mhm.
sugar farms, imagine what's going to happen when we have a data center,
Mm.
let alone four of them in our district. So we are
Unreal.
we are really fighting this. Myself and candidates from all around the state, our potential Democratic nominee for governor, like all these different local and state elections, like we really have to be locked in here in Florida in terms
You
of
need
this
a
election season.
coalition. Yeah,
Yes,
you
we
need to
have
build
to.
that coalition. Um, so Bernard, you're an EMS worker, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And a firefighter?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
you do both of those things, which is remarkable, so admirable. Um, being on the front lines in those two, really hectic, dangerous um environments on a day-to-day basis. What are those experiences? Did they kind of influence you to run, or like what was the specific moment for you that decided I'm a public servant already, because that's what you are, as a firefighter, as an EMS worker, that is, one of the most selfless public servant jobs you can do. You're doing too. What made you decide to take that and turn that into a run for Congress?
But again, just seeing some of the things that I've seen in my career. I've been doing this for
Yeah.
about 6 years now, being in the back of an ambulance, being on the fire truck, and seeing different communities, seeing how certain people are living, seeing
Mhm.
how the 1% among us live, seeing how the people who have barely enough to get by live, seeing how our healthcare industry is truly, truly broken. It's not working for
Yeah.
anyone. It's especially not working for the people that it needs to be working for. And in my line of work, I get to see how legislation really impacts Americans on an everyday basis.
Hmm.
For example, the insulin cap that was here in the previous administration that made insulin
Yeah.
more affordable. Nobody was being charged more than $35. When this administration came in and pretty much got rid of all those things, and the insulin prices shot back up into the hundreds of dollars, I know personally of a situation that it cost someone their life on the back of
Hmm.
my ambulance because
Mm.
he was rationing his insulin because he could no longer afford to get it in the way he needed to get it. And
In America, y'all, in America,
yeah, so
rationing insulin.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
so it's unfortunate, and it's not like it was some really old person. It was someone in their 50s who had a family and kids and still a lot of life left to live. And because of a pen stroke from somebody
Mhm.
2,000 miles away who they have never met, who doesn't really care about them, they're no longer here. So seeing things like that and just seeing how this stuff really impacts people, it inspired
Yeah.
my work to go ahead and run for Congress because I looked at the current landscape, I looked at the current representation that we had, and I was just not pleased. And I came to realize that it wasn't working for anyone here in this country.
Mm.
Yeah, and we're so glad that you did because
Yeah.
I mean we've talked to multiple now EMS workers who are also running for office, and I think it's just a perfect thing because who else better to run and to try to fix this broken system than the people who are working within it, who have spoken to people who have been struggling with it. I think that's it's a natural thing, and I don't know why it hasn't happened more up until now, but I'm so glad that you and others are running that we're talking with. Florida, a hot button issue almost all the time is immigration. Florida has a lot of legal ports of entry, making it different from a lot of different states like that. And obviously, you've seen the havoc that ICE and CBP have been, wreaking upon, people in border states like Florida. Talk about that a little bit, and just kind of what what are the kind of solutions that you've been kind of talking with other people about and coming up with to try to fix another broken system that we have, which is immigration.
Well, the first thing is finding enough people that actually want to fix the system.
Mm.
Problem with our current representation in our current government is they keep the system broken so they have something to run on every 2 to 4 years. Nobody actually wants to solve the problem. They want to have a problem to talk about. They want to have a group of people to make out to be the enemy, make out to be the bad guy, blame things on, when in actuality, if they just fixed what's broken, a lot of their problems and a lot of things that they're worried about would be solved. But again, if you fix a broken system, what are you going to campaign on?
Mhm.
So there are solutions. There have been solutions. There was a bipartisan solution back in 2024 that was placed on the House floor, that was placed in
Right.
the Senate, that was approved by both parties, that would have streamlined our immigration process, that would have put more money into the immigration judicial process to maybe streamline the asylum process. So you're not waiting 3, 4, and 10 years to get, to be determined if you can be here legally or
Crazy.
not.
Yeah.
So all those things were put on the table, but because someone wanted to win an election, we had to keep the system broken so they can keep talking about the system being broken. So there are people that want to solve the problem. As we saw back in 2024, people came together and came to a compromise. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to more people coming together and coming up with that compromise so we can actually fix the system. It's
Mhm.
not enough to just keep something so you can stay in power. That's why I tell people all the time, I'm going up here to try to fix as many things as I can, and then I want to go back to the fire truck. I'm not trying to be there forever. I truly love what I do.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to be up there no more than 6 years, if that. And then you guys find somebody else that wants to do this, because I
That's
am
the right attitude, Bernard, because so many
honestly.
people, unfortunately, go into this role like they've hit the lottery and they're never leaving, no matter what.
No,
We've
I'm
got
a
people in Congress 80 and beyond saying, I'll never retire, which is crazy to me.
no, I'm a tropical person. I don't do snow, and I heard it's snow in DC, so I ain't
He said,
trying to
I
do that for too
heard
long.
there's snow in DC. You're not wrong.
Yeah, so I
Not
ain't
all the
trying.
time, but it happens.
No, I'm not trying to do that forever. So, we got to get this thing done in a short period of time.
We love that. That's a great attitude to have. So, um, a lot of people, I think I've been asking this question lately. I'm going to try and ask it a different way. So, we see a lot of people running for whether it be Congress or Senate, or even local representation. Um, they come in feeling very strong in their morals. They're progressive, non-compromising, don't take PAC money, all of the things that, we appreciate about the candidates that we talk to. But for some reason, when people get to Congress, they lose their minds, apparently. So, what about you, Bernard, and your sort of background and your character would prevent you from becoming the thing that you're running against if you were to get elected?
So for one, like, I'm almost 6 feet tall and 230 pounds, so you can't bully me into doing anything. um, um, I'm introverted at heart, so if you tell me ain't nobody gonna be my friend, that's cool with me. I mean, I'm not gonna be sad about it. Um,
No.
and I'm not afraid to call people out, man. I'm not afraid to
Yeah.
stand in front of the camera and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. These are the games these people are playing, and this is why I'm trying to bring resources back to my district, and they're not allowing me. These people don't want to compromise. These people don't want to work with. Like, I'm not afraid to go in there and burn it all down,
I
because again,
100% believe you.
I'm not trying to stay in
I
power. I'm
100% believe you. I don't think anyone's going to bully you for sure. That's out of the
Mhm.
question. Um, and I think that needs to be the approach. Like, not enough people spend time calling each other out and holding each other accountable in Congress. So just that approach alone is a huge improvement to what we have now.
Yeah. I mean, I love it, like, because it's like Bernard Taylor is not here to hang out in DC and make friends. Get me
Right.
not even a
back to
little bit.
Florida away from y'all in this snow. And so
Yes.
I love that, man. And the thing is, you're kind of running against a guy who is the complete opposite, right? Brian Mast is a guy who is trying to make some DC friends. He is trying to collect some of this money. And right now, I mean, he took over $2 million in APAC funding, according to Track APAC, who you are backed by. You got endorsed by Track APAC, which is great. But I tell you what, Bernard, growing up, I didn't realize the power that APAC has. and that Israel at large has. And I think it's really come into the spotlight. Talk a little bit about that, your opponent Brian Mast, and just like the, the the importance of everyone understanding here in America that we're being bogarted. We are being, infiltrated by people who are not looking out for our self-interest, and they're buying politicians, root and stem.
No, absolutely. And whether it's APAC, whether it's the oil industry, whether it's the pharmaceutical industry, all these different lobbyist groups have one goal, and that is to keep their lobby in power. When you talk about APAC, their goal is to create and strengthen American-Israeli relationships. Period. End of story.
Mm.
You saw the bill that just got proposed. They want to intertwine our military so that they're
Yeah.
one. Like what
Wild.
that is definitely not a quote unquote America first policy.
Mm-mm.
When you think about the oil industries, why we can't have renewable industries, because that impacts their bottom line. So they're going to pay for as many politicians as possible. When you think about why we have our prescription drugs being so high, is because the pharmaceutical companies pay for politicians, and they pay for them to speak out against legislation that's going to impact them. So regardless of what group it is, we need to make sure that we are calling these people out, making sure we're calling the representatives out when we find out that they are taking money from these lobbies and they're voting in their favors. And then we need to get rid of them. We need to stop looking at, oh, this person's on my team, I'm just going to keep voting for them. Because what you're
Right.
doing is you're allowing them to just do whatever they want to do, because they know at the end of the day, you're not going to see anything past, well, this person's on my team. So I think a lot of us are starting to wake up to these things. I think a lot of us, I think the worst thing that probably happened to APAC and all these different lobbies is that we have these phones and the internet, and a lot of stuff is being
Uh-huh.
exposed. It's easy to operate in the shadows. It's very, very hard to operate when there is literally a camera and a microphone in every person's hand all over the world. So
Mhm.
the truth is coming out about a lot of this stuff, and we need to take it upon ourselves as Americans and as citizens to root out as much of it as possible.
Yeah.
I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I don't sell pipe dreams. I'm not going to tell you
Mm.
like during the midterms we're going to get rid of every person that takes APAC money, because we're obviously seeing them still having a unique control
Mhm.
over a lot of the politicians. We saw what just happened with Representative Massey up there in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So there's still a strong influence that they have. It's not going to be something that's broken overnight. And that's with any lobby. So whether we're talking about APAC, whether we're talking about oil or pharmaceuticals or anything like that, this stuff is going to take a true generational movement of candidates during this election cycle, during next election cycle, and the following election cycle to continue to root out all these different people and put people in there that actually want to make sure we're doing things to help the people here in this country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And real quick, Allie, because I got to say
Yeah.
this before you get to the next question. This guy, Brian Mast, you talk about not America first. This guy wore a foreign military uniform to Congress.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is not your friend, folks. This is
IDF?
not your
Was it
friend.
IDF?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I
so
think
that's all you
yeah.
really need to know, folks. I mean, this is not a person who needs to be representing you in the United States Congress.
Yeah, so that's the thing. What I tell everybody, just don't listen to what I got to say. At the end of the day, Brian has a 10-year record in Congress. He has a 10-year voting record. He has a 10-year record of sound bites, speeches, all these different things. Judge a person by their actions.
Mhm.
If he claims to be an environmentalist, he's fighting for clean water here on the Treasure Coast, but when you look at his voting record and he has a 16% score in terms of his environmental voting record, he actually got a 0% back in 2024 in terms of his advocacy for the environment. So
Unreal.
those are the things that I'm trying to educate people on here in this district. Don't
Mhm.
necessarily let's just listen to the rhetoric from either myself or Brian. Literally look at his record and ask yourself, has he been a great representative for the people here over the past 10 years? And if he hasn't, give someone else a shot.
I love that. And I say all the time, 2026 is not the time to just vote for the incumbent, to just blindly vote for someone, assuming because they're already in office, they must have been the right choice at some point. You
Mhm.
really need to look at these people's voting records. You really need to do what they're doing to see what they're doing for their community members, for their constituents. Because I guarantee you, when you start to pull that thread, what you're going to find on the other end of it is a pile of yarn. There's not going to
Mhm.
be anything there substantial that's made
No.
your life better since the time they got voted in.
It is crazy when I look at some of these things. It's like a majority of the things that get passed are like symbolic. Oh,
Yeah.
you got a post office named, or you got this road
Right.
renamed,
That's like
or like
Trump.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you've passed four pieces of legislation and they're all like renaming some building in the side. Like
All
why do
vanity
people keep sending
projects.
why do
Who
people keep sending you
cares?
back, man? I need you to go out there and get me some money for the district. We got stuff that need to get fixed.
Right.
I don't go, oh, I want that post office to be named after the third son of I don't care. It's the post office to
Yeah.
me.
A
Yeah.
zero
Yeah.
environmental score in a state like Florida,
Yeah.
You're
you
doing less
know,
than nothing if you're getting a zero. Less
Yeah, that's
than
true.
unreal.
nothing. Yeah.
The
Um,
funniest thing to me is we're the sunshine state and we are not leading the world in solar energy. That's crazy to me.
yeah. I mean, you could be like your own Costa Rica. The whole state could be completely green
Mhm.
just on solar alone.
Yep.
Think of the cost savings. Think of the benefits to the environment. It's crazy. We got to get some of these Republicans out of Florida. I'm telling you. Um, all right. So public trust in government, I think, is at an all-time low. And for many of the reasons that we've talked about, including the money in politics, you're out there canvassing, meeting with potential voters for you. Um, what are you hearing? Like, what are the things they're most frustrated about at large, whether it be locally or at the federal level? What are you hearing from voters that potentially represent or reflect this degradation of trust that we're seeing across the country?
Yeah, people can't afford to live. Florida has
That's
become just
simple.
people
Yeah.
just I just looked at it today. Florida is now the worst state for renters in the entire country. The absolute worst state. So thinking about young people. I got an 18-year-old son now, just graduated high school. So
Mhm.
he's an adult. He's stepping
Yeah.
into the world. And I had to tell him that, yeah, you probably ain't even gonna be able to rent nothing before you're 30 at this rate. To be honest with you.
Crazy.
And at the end of the day, it's hurting everybody, not just young people, but our seniors here. You know, Florida has a
Yeah.
huge senior population. Most of them are on the Social Security on the fixed income, and with inflation at 4.2% now, that single income, that fixed income, is just not stretching as far as it needs to, and a lot of them are worried about losing their homes that they spend their entire lives trying to get because of rising property taxes and the homeowners insurance crisis that we have here in Florida. So if I had to say the number one thing that I talk with in terms of the constituents here where I am, it's just being able to afford to live. And we're not
Yeah.
even talking about gas prices and food right now.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
even on top of that. So
It's
um
just survival at this point.
every
And
day.
we just heard a lot of seniors in Florida. There's also a crisis where, if they're relying on, I think, Medicaid for nursing homes, because they're getting booted
Mhm.
out, they're getting kicked out of these nursing homes.
So what some of these nursing homes are doing, which again I see firsthand in my experience, they will call us because somebody is quote unquote sick, maybe they have a little trouble breathing, temperature, anything like that. They'll call us to take them to the hospital. We'll get them to the hospital, and they'll come to find out, just by checking on them, that the nursing home says you can't bring them back here. So they get abandoned. They
What?
get abandoned at the hospitals. The hospitals can't keep them, so now they're homeless. So that happens frequently because again, with
Regardless.
the cuts to
Oh.
Medicaid and Medicare, a lot of these nursing homes require rely on Medicaid and Medicare to fund them, and with those
Are
subsidies,
you are you telling me, do you think that when they call you, it's not necessarily a life-threatening emergency? They just want them out so they don't have to bring them back in?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
But pattern recognition, right?
Pattern recognition. Yeah.
Oh, Bernard, that literally makes me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's
I
it's
mean,
it's not uncommon,
and
unfortunately.
imagine like voting for somebody like Trump because you want to get immigrants out, you want this, that, and the third, but you don't realize that you voted to boot yourself out of your retirement home.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be just a shock to the system. And I
Mm.
mean, this is these are the repercussions,
These
right,
are the
of making these
consequences.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why, again, people kind of like ask me like what are some of my morals or my values, and I always tell people like I'm more inclined and I feel better when I know people around me are doing good and are
Yeah.
okay, as opposed to my own personal um well-being. Like for me, I'm good. I'm happily married. My kids are great. My wife, we're good. We're not struggling. I come from struggle, so
Yeah.
to even sit here now and say I'm not struggling is a blessing. But I know there are way too many people around me that are struggling, and that just doesn't sit right with my spirit. So that's another reason why I was like, well, I got to get in here and try to do something because there are too many people around here, like I say, are getting booted out of their nursing homes, or whether it's homeless veterans who are considered who are seeing more and more of their veterans benefits and their aid being taken away each day. Sometimes a ride to the Veterans Center here in my district to the VA is the highlight of a person's day because they know at least they got their health care even if they don't have a home.
Mhm.
And to see
Mhm.
those benefits and to see what they're going through and just speaking with them in this district, I can't for the life of me figure out why veterans vote the way they do at about a 60% clip because these are the same people that are cutting back the things that they fought for, the things that they earned. So
Yes.
it's all just disheartening, but I try to be optimistic and I keep pushing forward.
Yeah. And we're glad that you're doing it. And I mean,
Mhm.
you have in part of your proposals are to protect renters, but it goes really beyond that when you talk about your Homes for Floridians Act. I mean, you're talking about up to $25,000 for new homeowners. A nice little chip off of the Kamala block, which I think it's
Mhm.
brilliant because we need that. Our generation needs that. Millennials don't have any kind of real home ownership to look forward to. Gen Z as well. And then you go and help small businesses who are developing these homes within this act too. So without basically blowing your whole answer, talk about that a little bit. Just overall housing in Florida and how you plan to help everybody out.
Well, I want people to really pay attention to who actually is the reason why housing is so unaffordable here in Florida and all over this
Mm.
country. And it's not the undocumented immigrants, it's these corporations and hedge funds that are buying up all the single family homes
Mhm.
and all the multifamily units and things of that nature that are trying to turn all of us into renters.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we cut this off at the head. I would love for there to be an outright ban on corporations and hedge funds from being able to buy single family homes. But again, I try to be realistic about things. So
Mhm.
this proposal was my way of kind of tempering it as best as I could by making sure that we tax them for bulk purchases. So you can't come into a new development and saying you're going to buy 10 homes. If you're going to do that, then we're going to tax you an absorbent amount to maybe make you say, hey, this might be a little too much to buy 10 homes. Maybe we'll only buy 5 or 4 homes. So now you have more inventory, and we know with supply and demand, more inventory, less things cost. Less inventory,
Mhm.
more thing costs. So this is kind of my way of trying to keep more inventory on the market for single families and single people to be able to buy a home. So that'll bring those home prices down and also those rents down. And also that bulk tax for the companies that do pay that tax can go straight into the fund to be able to provide that down payment assistance. So it's not taxes from the working class. It is literally taxes from these corporations and taxes from the 1% that would go to fund those $25,000 down payment assistance for the next generation to become homeowners. And on top of that, adding that right of first refusal, not letting these corporations buy a single family home for up to a year that is on the market. So you allow the community and you allow people to purchase these homes. And if they don't purchase within a year, then these corporations and hedge funds can come in and make you an offer, because I don't want nobody to just be broke. So
Yeah.
just trying to do what I can to keep more houses on the market and actually attack the problem, because we're just not building houses at a fast enough rate
Right.
to what we need. And that also ties into my other piece of legislation that I want to get passed in terms of, education, making sure that every high school student in America can graduate with a skill
Mm.
on top of their high school diploma. So, whether that's electrician, whether that's plumbing, whether that's HVAC, whether that's cybersecurity, just something to get you started when you graduate high school, and also something to get more tradesmen into the field so we can build these homes, because we know college is not for everyone. I tell people
Yes.
all the time, I went to college, but if I'd have knew about firefighting when I was 18, you would have never seen me. I'd have
Yeah.
been a 21-year-old firefighter, and I'd have been
Hmm.
close to retirement by now. But
Hmm.
life lessons. So those are the kind of things, and that's what I mean in terms of like solutions, trying to actually solve these problems. Even if you don't think my solutions are the best, help me make it better, or let's find a solution that works for everyone. But this is what our government is supposed to be doing, is trying to come up with ways to solve problems instead
Hmm.
of keeping us distracted with culture wars.
Yeah. Facts. Love that.
Bernard, you're just so, I don't know, there's an energy about you. You're just so calm and reassuring and logical and
I was gonna say
straightforward.
calm. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just no bullshit. There's no pretense. It's really refreshing, honestly.
I tell people it's easy to do an interview when you ain't got to hide nothing.
Yes. I love it.
Telling you, man.
I love it.
I'd follow you into a burning building, my friend.
I
Oh,
appreciate you,
yes.
man. Don't
Telling you
worry. We,
what.
we coming out. Don't worry. We coming out.
Yes, sir. Yes,
We coming
sir.
out one way or another. That's why I keep a
All
Hmm.
right.
sledgehammer with me. Even
All
if we
right.
not buy a door, we can make a door.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, Bernard, your primary is in August, right?
Mhm.
What's the exact date? August is
August
8th?
18th.
18th. Okay.
Yeah, so we are one of the last 4 or 5 primaries in the country.
And tell me how many people are in your race in your district?
So right now, I'm the only qualified Democrat. This week
Oh,
is
well, we
actually
know that.
yes. So this week is qualifying week to put your name on the ballot. So we put our
Okay.
name on the ballot on Monday. So we are officially in this race. There's a
Wonderful. Congratulations.
thank you. There's another young man who's been running since last October for the Democratic nomination as well. His status is still showing active. It hasn't showed as qualified yet. So I don't know if
Okay.
he submitted his paperwork yet or not. So
Okay.
if he has not submitted his paperwork before Friday at noon, and I'm the only Democrat qualified, there will be no primary, and
Oh, I love that.
it will just be a straight race to the general election in November. So,
Okay.
but there will be one other one. I'm
Yeah.
operating as if
Fingers
there will be.
crossed.
Yeah, I'm operating as if there will be one other person in my
Sure.
primary.
Sure. Okay. So, as a grassroots progressive candidate who will just knock this out, no corporate PAC money, no AIPAC money, no lobbyist money,
Mhm.
clean campaign, grassroots, lots of small dollar donations. What do
Lots
you
of them.
need? Yes. Tell our audience what you need in order to get to that primary, in order to get to the midterm elections successfully, and tell them how to find you.
I need for your audience to visit me at bernardtaylorforcongress.com. I need you to research who I am and the things that I want to do. I don't want to ask you for your support if you don't know who I am and what I'm trying to do. Now, if you agree with who I am and the things that I'm trying to do, please consider contributing to the campaign. Every dollar helps. Also, spread the word about our campaign. The more visibility we have, the better chance we have of winning this race, and also better chance we have of raising even more money. The more people that know about me and know who I'm running against, I find they are very generous. So we want to make sure
Okay.
that we are spreading the word about this campaign. Um, you can also volunteer to help the campaign through the website. If you are in the area, you can come out and help us knock doors and get the word out. Even if you're not in the area, you can get on the phone bank and make phone calls to the people in the area and tell them how wonderful and great you think I am. All that fun stuff. So, and share all the content, like everything, comment, get us onto the algorithms. Everything that you think you can do within your power, please do. That's going to do nothing but help us win this primary and eventually win the general election as we speaking this thing into existence.
And
So
ladies, and maybe some gentlemen too, check out his Instagram page. Now, this is a happily married man with a family of 5. I want to preface by saying that,
Yes.
but you will not be disappointed when you visit the IG page. Just saying, just saying. It's just Bernard doing his job. That's all. He's
that's
just
it.
doing his
That's it.
job.
That's it. Absolutely. Well, every day, just one day at a time.
Good stuff, man.
Well, listen, we're
Dude,
wishing you all the luck in the world.
yeah, thank
Like I
you so much.
said, such a straight shooter, really refreshing. Don't get that a lot in politics and on the right or the left. So really enjoyed talking to you. And you're a friend of the show now. You need anything between now and your primary, or when you win your primary before the midterms, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys for having me. Be safe out there. Keep doing the good work that you're doing. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Thank you,
man.
Bernard.
All right.
Seth, I mean, Bernard Taylor. I
You know,
I'm going to be
as
thinking about this
advertised.
one for a while, as
Yeah.
advertised.
Yeah.
Of course, we've never spoken to him. That was the first time. But there's something so unique about him.
Mhm.
Politicians, and listen, every response he gave was so succinct and common sense and perfect.
Yeah.
But there were no very economical with his word choices, no words wasted, no frill, no
Yep.
fluff, no what politicians usually do.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
that's a calm, collected dude who
Yeah.
has a plan, who's been in tough situations before, and nothing's, throwing this guy off. I mean,
No.
he's seen it all. But
He
he's
is
six
like
foot,
this. He is just
230.
steady as a rock, that guy.
Yeah, and he's like, I mean, what he just said at the end of the episode, we're getting out of there. We're getting out of the burning building. If I
Mhm.
got to make a new hole, if there ain't no door, I'm making a new hole, and we're gonna get out of that building. That's the kind of guy that I want in my corner. That's the kind of guy I
One
want fighting
million
in Congress.
percent.
And again, he's not there to make friends. He's not
No,
there trying to chum it up with the DC crowd, with the AIPAC crowd. He's trying to
he's
get in
got,
there, get the job done, and get the heck out.
he's a happy family man. He loves his wife. He's got 5
Yeah,
children. He's trying to do his job and go home. He's
yeah,
not there, like you said, to socialize and go to dinners and go to the bars and do all the wasteful things that Congress likes to do. He just wants to get in and make a difference. He doesn't want to be there forever, 2 to 3 terms maybe. Do the best that he can do and then go back to what he really loves doing, which is saving lives. I mean, he's like Superman. I don't know.
that's a dude. That's a
That's a
dude.
man. That's a
I'm pretty
man.
sure I've seen him in a comic book somewhere.
It has to be. They just don't, you just don't make them. You know what I mean? Like that. No offense, but like Bernard's exceptional. I don't know what else to say.
I
Florida
don't know if they
21st
are.
district,
Yeah,
like
I don't know if they have telephone booths in Florida, but Bernard's probably breaking out of one tomorrow,
it might
doing
be.
something.
We might need a
And so,
graphic of him in the Cape because
yeah,
he
honestly,
gives he gives superhero vibes. I'm like, he's a Marvel character.
yeah,
Florida 21st district. I mean, I don't know what you're doing. He said, I'm gonna get you out. He's talking about as a firefighter. He's gonna get you out, Florida. He's there to save you collectively as a politician, as your locally elected politician. My God, look him up. Go to his website, go to his social media page. You won't be disappointed. Just saying. Share, make donations. We need to see Bernard Taylor win this race.
yeah. So excited that we got to talk with him. This is a guy with a big reach, and so
Yeah.
for him to come on was huge, and we thank
That
him for
too.
that.
Yeah, just
And
amazing.
and just a down home guy, man. I mean, you can't ask for anything more Florida. I mean, this guy
No.
again, he's gonna give you the real, no BS, no frills. He's in there to do the job and get out. And that's what you want in a politician, man.
God damn,
We
don't
don't
we?
want these 40, 50-year lifelong politicians. You want
don't.
guys like Bernard. So let's make it happen, Florida.
Yeah,
Bernard Taylor for Congress. Make it happen. Get out
make it
there. You know,
happen.
even if you don't live in Florida or live in his district, volunteer, get on the socials, make it happen.
Yes.
You know,
Small
let's
dollar
go.
donations. He might have some phone banking
Yeah,
opportunities later on, but just if you're not voting for Bernard Taylor, Florida, come on, get it together. It's time.
let's go.
All right, Seth. Well, that's it for today. We had a double header. That's why, hence, you're going to see a repeat outfit from Seth and I in this and our previous episode. You know, that's what happens when you got to do two in a row. We have a little bit of a break, and then we got some more interviews scheduled for this weekend, but it's primary season.
Yeah, but today was great, and you
Yeah.
know, just psyched to keep on going, to continue this good work, and
Yeah,
you know, I can tell from our candidates like it makes a difference.
it
So
does make a difference.
so
And it
so
makes
that
a
feels good.
difference for us. Selfishly, I I regain little pieces of hope that have been
Yeah.
shattered throughout this administration with every person we talk to. And that's not bullshit. Like I really, it's like, this is my Lexapro. I'm not even kidding. This is what keeps me sane and keeps my mood boosted and restores my hope in humanity and for the future, because it's doom and gloom a lot of days. I know you know that. I know people that
Yeah.
listen to the show know that. I hope that you glean just a sliver of the hope that we do from every single person we talk to, because that's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
then voting them in. It's not enough
Yeah.
just to enjoy listening
Action.
to them. We need that
Action
vote.
after
We need those
the
votes.
nice frilly words. We need action. And I was just
Absolutely.
about to say what you said. I mean, we draw life from the candidates that we talk to,
Yeah.
and I just hope that we give them a little bit of life too, and
And
just
you
you know,
guys.
in these
And you
close
guys.
races. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 5, 10, 15, 20 votes. You don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. So
Yep.
shout out to all of our candidates. You guys are awesome, and we
All
appreciate all of
amazing.
you.
Every
Yeah.
single one of them are so unique and wonderful in their own ways.
Yeah.
And we'll be bringing more to you very soon.
Right. All right.
See you,
Let's go.
Seth.
All right. Bye.